students, how are you all? I hope you are fit and fine at your home. Dear students, first of all, I would like to congratulate you all that you are in the 6th standard now. Students, today we shall study History and Civics of 6th standard. Today we shall study the first lesson of History and Civics, that is the Indian subcontinent and history. Before moving forward, I would like to say thanks to my subscribers, students, parents, those who have shared it, liked it and commented below the video. Students, with the best wishes, I would like to start the first lesson of History and Civics of the 6th standards. Okay, are you ready? Yes, before moving further, I would like to remind you, last year in 5th standard we have studied Environmental Studies Part 2. In Environmental Studies Part 2, we have studied what is history, evolution of mankind, Stone Age, stone tools, as well as we have studied settled life and urban civilization. Okay, student. Now, in this 6th standard, we are going to study in the first chapter, that is the Indian subcontinent and history. So, without further ado, let's start. Students, first of all, I will read the text for you. Students, mind it, reading is very important to understand anything. So, reading is must. So, let's read. Lesson number 1, the Indian subcontinent and history. 1.1, geographical conditions and history. In the 5th standard, we saw at some length that there is a close relationship between man and his environment. We saw how the changes in the lifestyle of early man and his technology were related to the changes in his surroundings. We also reviewed the history of human civilization from the Stone Age to the agricultural civilizations that flourished on the banks of rivers. History is a coherent account of the significant past events in the progress of human culture. Time, place, society, and individuals are the 4 major pillars of history. We cannot write history without them. Of these 4 components, place is related to geography or geographical conditions. In this sense, history and geography are inseparable. History is influenced by geographical conditions in many ways. Students, in the 5th standard we have studied history, evolution of mankind, and we have studied the village settlements. Okay student, do you remember it? Yes, let me tell you, there is a close relationship between a man and his environment. We always see that there is a great influence, there is a great effect of environment on the life of human being. Students, for example, the people who resides by the side of coastal area, most of the time we find in their diet fish or aquatic animals are included. Okay students? Yes, it means that environment or surrounding effects on the life of the people, and diet is the part of life of people. So the environment decides the lifestyle of a human being. As well as we have studied that changes in the human lifestyle of early man and his technology is related to his surrounding. Okay students, yes, we have studied the changes in the lifestyle of early man and his technology were related to the surrounding of the person. For example, whatever changes took place in the life of early man, it is because of the changes in the surrounding or environment, we can say. Students, the invention of fire and wheel brought a great change in the lifestyle of the early man. Because of invention of fire and because of invention of the wheel, the life of early man changed. It get progressed. Okay students, have you understood? Very good. Students, we have studied the history of human civilization from Stone Age to agricultural civilization. that flourished on the banks of a river. Okay, student. So, in the last year, we have studied the development of a man right from the early man to the modern man. Okay, student. We have studied about Homo habilis to Homo sapien sapien. Yes, student. The modern man is known as Homo sapien sapien. Okay, students. Students, we have studied that because of development of the Homo sapiens sapien, or we can say because of the intellectual development of Homo sapiens sapien, there was development in agriculture, and because of the development in agriculture, the Homo sapiens sapien gets settled on the banks of rivers. So here, hence we see the most of the civilizations had settled down on the banks of rivers. Okay, students, have you understood? Very good. In the last year, we have studied history. What is history, student? Can you tell me? If you remember, you can type your answer in the comment box. Okay, student, history is a coherent account of significant past events in the progress of human culture. Okay, student? In short, we can say history is a record of important events in the past. Students, there are four important pillars of history: time, place, society, and individual. Without these four components, or without these four elements, it is not possible to write history. Let me explain these four components in short to you so that you can understand why these four components are important while writing history. See, student, if you study history, most of the time we see that history is belonged or related to an individual. For example, history of Shivaji Maharaj, history of Maharana Pratap, history of Mahatma Gandhi, we can say. So history is related to a person, individual. Just now I have given an example of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Then one question arises here, that for whom did Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj fought, or for whom did Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj worked? Okay, for those whom Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had worked, that is known as a society or the group of people. Okay, students. So here individual and society we have studied. Now, where did Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj lived or worked? In Maharashtra, or we can say in India. Okay, student. So here place is important, and place is related to geographical conditions. Okay, students. Now the last one, that is time. When did Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj lived and worked for people, worked for Swaraj, worked for the country? Okay, students. So these four important factors are important while writing the history. Hence, student, we can say of these four components, place is related to geographical conditions, and hence we can say geography and history are inseparable. We can't separate them. Okay, history is depend on geographical condition, and we can see the influence of geographical conditions on history. Okay, students, so both are inseparable. Students, do you know in what way geographical conditions did influence the history? Yes, if you know, you can type your answer in the comment box. Okay, student. So let's learn in what way geographical conditions influenced on history. Okay, student. First, I will read the text, then I will explain it to you. Okay, student. Listen to it carefully and try to understand it. So let's read. Our diet, clothing, housing, occupation, in fact all human life in any region depends to a large extent on its geographical characteristics. For example, the life of the people in hilly regions is more strenuous than that of the people on the plains. Not much fertile land is available in the hilly regions, while in the plains it is available on a large scale. That is why grains and vegetables are scarce in hilly areas. In comparison, people on the plains get them in a sufficient measure. Naturally, this has an impact on the diet of people. In hilly regions, people depend more on hunting and gathering for their food. We also find other such differences in the lifestyle of the people of the hilly regions and those of the plains. Students, we all know that our life is completely depend on our surroundings or on our environment, or we can say on the geographical conditions. Okay, according to geographical conditions, a man survives or a man lives his life. Okay, students, and we see a great impact of geographical conditions on the life of people. So there is an effect of geographical conditions on the lifestyle of human being. Yes, in what way the geographical conditions affects the life of the person or a man or a human? Yes, can you tell me? Yes, if you want to answer, you can type your answer in the comment box. Yes, student, in what way the geographical conditions affect the life of person? Our diet, clothing, housing, occupation, in fact, all human life in any region depend on to a large extent on its geographical characteristics. Okay, student. For example, just now I have told you, most of the time we see that the people who resides by the side of coastal area, in their diet, they include the aquatic animals, for example, fishes. At the same time, we see the people who live by the side of coastal area, their occupation is fishing. Okay, student. In this way, the surrounding or the environment or geographical conditions affects on the life of person. It is same with clothing and housing of a man. Okay, student. According to geographical conditions, the man uses clothing and builds houses. Students, one more example I would like to tell you, that is the life of people in hilly region is very strenuous, or we can say hard. Why it is hard, student? Because in the hilly region we can't say the plains, and because of not having the flat surface or plains, the people in hilly region could not able to cultivate the crops in a proper way. Because of a stiffness, they could not able to do the water management. Okay, student. And so their life is completely depend on the jungle which is present in the hilly region. And so for their diet, they do hunting and gathering for their food. Okay, student. In this way, the life of the people in the hilly region is very much strenuous as well as hard in comparison to the people who live on the plains. What do you mean by plain, student? Yes, let me tell you. Plain is a large flat area where we find very few trees. And because of that, we can do here cultivation, and it is available in a large scale. Students, just now we have studied that there is a scarce of grains and vegetables in the hilly region. But here on the plains, the people get grains and vegetable in plenty. Because of this differentiation, naturally, it has impact on the diet of the people in hilly region and of the people on the plains. In this way, we can see other such differences too. Okay, let's learn about such differences in the next para. Students, have you understood this much? Very good. Now, I will read the text for you. Listen to it carefully and then I will explain it to you. Let's read. The climate, rainfall, agricultural produce, flora, fauna of the region where we live are the sources of our livelihood. The lifestyle and culture of region develops with their support. Human settlements have flourished where the means of living are plentiful. Over a period of time, these settlements develop further into villages and towns. But sometimes regions like the degradation of the environment, drought, invasions, etc. lead to scarcity of these means. People are forced to leave their settlements. Villages and towns become deserted. We see many such instances in history. Thus, we see that there is a very close relation between history and geography. Students, the sources of our livelihood are the climate, rainfall, agricultural produce, flora and fauna. Students, what do you mean by livelihood? Do you know the meaning of livelihood? Yes, livelihood means the activities which are required to live our life, or the things which are required to live our life are included in livelihood. For example, food, shelter, water, clothing, etc. And here the sources of our livelihood are the climate, rainfall, agricultural produce from we get food, flora and fauna. Flora, what do you mean by flora and fauna, students? Yes, let me tell you. Flora is the corresponding term for plants. It means that flora is related to plants. Okay, student. Now let's learn what is fauna. Okay, fauna is related to the flowers. Okay, so this fauna is the term that referred to the flowers in a particular region. So here flora and fauna also the sources of our livelihood. With this we must understand what is climate, because climate has a great impact on the life of person or life of people. So climate, in the last year in 5th standard we have studied about weather and climate. Weather changes quickly, continuously, okay, but climate doesn't change quickly. Climate lives for longer time, that is called climate. Or we can say the weather conditions prevailing in an area in general or over a long period. Okay, students, have understood what is climate now? Students, it is very important to understand the lifestyle and culture of a region develops with the help of their support only. Means, in the development of lifestyle and the culture of a particular region, climate, rainfall, agricultural produce, flora and fauna have a great role. Students, we are quite aware about the human settlements. Yes, the human settlements had flourished wherever the means of living were plentiful. Most of the times we have seen that the human settlements settled their lives by the side of the rivers. Okay, after the development of agriculture. The development in agriculture brought a great change in human life, and they started settling down in groups by the side of rivers. And then these converted into villages and next towns. But sometimes reasons like degradation of environment, drought, invasions lead to the scarcity of those means. Students, these are some of the reasons. Because of these reasons, maybe a lack of the sources of livelihood. Okay, student? Yes, student, we have experienced a drought in Latur in 2016, and because of that there was a scarcity of water, and at that time water was supplied to Latur by train from Meerut. Yes, student. So such kind of drought can affect on the availability of means of livelihood. Okay, student, have understood? Very good. And because of such kind of conditions, people are forced to leave their settlements. For example, we have seen in 2016 there was a drought in Latur, and the people who were residing in Latur district, they forced to leave their settlement and migrated to other places where they can get to water. And we can see villages and towns become deserted because of migration. Students, we have experienced, we have seen such kind of instances in history. Thus, we can see there is a close relationship between history and geography. Okay, students, have understood? Very good. Students, with this, we shall move forward with the new point, that is 1.2, geographical features of India. Students, I shall read the text for you. Students, listen to it carefully and try to understand it. Let's read. Our country, India, extends far and wide. At its north lie the Himalayas, to the east the Bay of Bengal, to the west the Arabian Sea, and to the south the Indian Ocean, except for the islands of Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep. The rest of the country is contiguous. We have to take into account this region, henceforth referred to as ancient India, when we study the ancient history of India. Before 1947, today's Pakistan and Bangladesh were also a part of India. The following regions are seen to be important when we look at the course of Indian history. First, the Himalayas. Second, the plains of Sindhu, Ganga, Brahmaputra rivers. Third, the Thar Desert. Fourth, the Deccan Plateau. Fifth, the coastal region. Sixth, the islands in the seas. Students, our country, India, extends far and wide. Do you know the location of India? Yes, let me tell you. India is situated north of the equator between 8 degree 4 minutes north to 37 degree 6 minutes north latitude and 68 degree 7 minutes east to 97 degree 25 minutes east longitude. Students, do you know India is the 7th largest country in the world? The total area of 32,87,263 square kilometers. India measures 3,214 kilometers from north to south and 2,933 kilometers from east to west. Has land frontiers of 15,200 kilometers and a coastal line of 7,516.6 kilometers. Students, at its north lie the Himalaya, to the east the Bay of Bengal, to the west the Arabian Sea, and to the south the Indian Ocean, except for the islands Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep. The rest of the country is contiguous. Students, what do you mean by contiguous here? Contiguous means being in actual contact, touching along boundary. Students, we have to take into account this region henceforth referred to as ancient India. We study the history of ancient India. Students, before 1947, today's Pakistan and Bangladesh were the part of India. When we look at the course of Indian history, the following things are very important that we need to consider, that are the Himalayas, the plains of Sindhu, Ganga, Brahmaputra, the Thar Desert, the Deccan Plateau, the coastal regions, and the islands in the seas. Now students, we shall study all these regions one by one. But students, if you learn these regions with the graphic effects, then you will be able to understand it properly and correctly. So here, now I am going to teach the further part with the help of graphics, so that you can understand all the regions properly. Okay students, have you understood? Very good. But students, we shall be studying these important regions of India in the next part of the video in detail. Okay, students? So be connected with me to learn more about it. Yes, student, have understood all? Very good. So today we have studied the geographical conditions and the course of history. Second, geographical features of India. Now, if you have liked this video as well as if you have understood it properly, then do not forget to like it, share it to your friends, subscribe and press the bell icon so that you will get current notification of new videos. Thank you. Be connected.